the Ballito Rage Festival that was set to take place from starting 2 days ago and for the next week has now been cancelled. 36 people tested positive for COVID-19 at testing stations set up near the venue's entrance in Ballito. Warnings had been issued by the Health Department and the Presidency about mass gatherings and the resultant mass infections that could emanate from year-end matric celebrations. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan is following the story. She joins us now. Karinda, good afternoon to you. What happened at the Rage Festival yesterday that led to this result?
Good afternoon to you, Stephen. Well, like you mentioned, 36 people tested positive at a facility just near the event venue in Ballito, where the party was going to be held. So on Monday, we were actually discussing some concerns being raised about this festival. Last year, remember, when the festival was held for a week between November and December, there were 2,253 people attending that event. Of that, 848 people tested positive. A majority of this were the partygoers who were attending the event and may have not necessarily adhered to the COVID-19 precautions that were in place. This led to cluster outbreaks in the area, which ultimately contributed to the spread of the second wave in December that we saw really impact the economy, not just of KwaZulu-Natal, but nationally. Now, over the past week, there has been, the arrangements to set up the venue in Ballito. On Monday, or rather on Tuesday, as the partygoers were entering the site, we understand prior to this, 122 staff were tested. They tested negative for the virus. But yesterday, between around 2 o'clock and 10 in the evening, guests started arriving, more staff started arriving, and of the 940 guests and staff that were tested, 32 guests and 4 staff members tested positive. Following this, early this morning, the Rage event organizers held meetings with Health Department authorities, among other stakeholders, and then said that they came to the conclusion after consultation to cancel this event. Ticket holders will be informed about what will happen in due course, but then they've given another statement to ticket holders to say that whether they remain in the province or choose to further travel, to be extremely responsible during this time. Stephen, these are young people. They've just left matric or are in, they're young adults that essentially want to use this time to celebrate the end of the year. But the message that is going out, not just from these event organizers now, but the KZN Premier, and we saw the President on Sunday say, is that these sort of parties and any gatherings where you have no social distancing protocols in place, no mask wearing because of alcohol consumption, among other reasons, will lead to mass infections. And ultimately, the result of this will see a possible calling for more tighter, stricter restrictions that will ultimately impact our economy and our lives. So this is what has happened by Ballito Rage.
I mean, Zianda, there have been many questions about why it was going ahead in the first place, but I mean, many years ago, before such a formally organized event occurred, Karinda, my apologies, before such a localized organized event occurred, what you had was people just going down, people from Gauteng in the main, going to the coast anyway. It was uncoordinated celebrations. For young people, I speak as a former young person, that can actually be more dangerous.
It can be. These are matric leavers. The event is open to those 18 years and above. So you've got people who've just been introduced to, alcohol consumption, to the party world. They've gained freedom and they want to celebrate that. Many are coming from the inland parts of the country to the coastline. And a lot of these parties, while there's a main party venue, there's also private beach parties, rooftop parties that are occurring as well in the midst of all of this. The young people going to the local pubs. It is contributing to the December tourism economy somewhat. But in the time we're in now, Stephen, even last year, you've got young people that are essentially consuming alcohol, partying, dancing together in close space. They're not necessarily all wearing their masks, and in the atmosphere they're in, you've got a close proximity to the next person, and that is how it is assumed then that the virus was spread between a lot of the partygoers during this time, as well as then you mentioned safety issues And that goes without saying. We have seen the red frogs present at some of the events previously. These are basically groups of people that assist with the youth, make sure they're hydrated, make sure they're safe, they have a safe space for them if they're overindulged. But at this point and at this year and at this time, the biggest concern here is the spread of COVID-19, the new variant that we see in South Africa, and a possible imminent fourth wave that will likely impact our economy going forward. And really, KwaZulu-Natal and the country just can't take that at this point.
Karinda, Jagmohan, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate it. Well, coming